Well, welcome back, guys, gals, and non binary pals. It's been a long minute since I've done a video. I've thought of so many video ideas, but they just kind of end up in scripting hell for forever, and I eventually just do nothing. So this is just going to be me kind of rambling about a really good game I finally had a chance to play. I really don't get to play too many games these days, as I'm sure my friends who follow me can tell. Just about any time I play a game, I stream it, so there hasn't been a lot of that. I really haven't been doing much outside of work and school lately. I'm taking 9 credits a quarter, and I really don't have a lot of free time. Adulting's hard. But anyways, good few weeks ago was my birthday, and it just so happened to be right before summer semester started. So I got a chance to finally play a game I'd been meaning to play, which was Mouthwashing, and goddamn, it was good. And I kind of just want to ramble about some things, mainly to do with, the community of this game. I was lucky enough to have very little of this game spoiled for me. Just about everything I had heard about this was, controversy and debates over characters and ethics. Whether it's okay to sexualize victims, or whether or not Anya is a victim, which is kind of absurd, and then people arguing back and forth over whether or not Jimmy and Curly are bad people. But I never really heard any of the actions of any of these characters. I just heard the names thrown around in these big public convos, and I never really looked into it. I don't really watch Let's Plays or spend time on Reddit or Twitter, so it was all just kind of background stuff I heard bits and pieces of. A statement I'd heard multiple times in people talking about this was that Jimmy is the real victim and that Jimmy suffered the most. And I don't know what rock these people were smoking, okay? I don't even think the game tries to make him empathetic or make his actions seem justified in any way. I mean, he's a biased narrator, but, it's pretty obvious what he did. I don't think... rape is one of those crimes where there's no justification for. And, every bad thing that happens after that is directly caused by him trying to avoid the consequences of that action. He crashes the ship, dooms everyone, turns his buddy to a fucking burnt crisp. All because he's trying to avoid what will happen when he inevitably gets to that next planet, and Anya can talk to someone who will actually help her, right? He's not haunted by images of his victim or anything, or in the vents, he is chased by a beast that is the embodiment of his work, and combined with the unborn child that resulted from his crime, right? You hear the baby noises, and this thing's chasing him through these vents. And it's this whole tense sequence. But, that is not him being torn up over what he did in my read at all. It was this, representation of the situation he got himself into, of how fucked he knows he is, that consequences are barreling down the tracks at him for the evil action he committed. And he can't escape them. That child is his worst nightmare because it's evidence of what he did. I hear people say Jimmy suffered the most, which I think is a very interesting take, and I think is just factually incorrect. I don't even think he suffered the third most in the cast. The person who suffered the most, inarguably in my opinion, is Curly, right? Which I think is an incredibly interesting and strong narrative choice, that the man who, sided with the rapist suffers more than the rapist himself, right? That he is, punished so harshly for his trust in Jimmy after what Jimmy did, right? I feel like that's a really powerful choice, I think the person who allows such harms to take place is obviously as bad as the person who commits them, right? Hot take, rape culture's bad, Yeah, I'm a real feminist, okay? What have you done for women lately? Now get me my alt baddie and matcha latte. But, Curly lives on in probably constant agony for there's no way that is a good recovery even if he is rescued. He's forced to live on knowing what he did, what his support of such a horrible individual allowed him caused to happen to him, and how supporting that individual caused harm to everyone in their little community. And I think that leads really well into the third point I wanted to make that I heard talked about a lot, which was people claiming Anya is incompetent, right? Which I feel is just stupid. It's silly. I mean, she did a really good job in a really shitty situation. And I mean, obviously not real people, so whatever, right? But I feel in the narrative, she did a pretty solid job for being in a pretty shitty situation. Not even being a real nurse, right, or whatever. This money-hungry company just kind of threw her through some training, sent this undertrained person on this mission, probably because it was cheap and easy, right? The Pony Express is not a good, ethical company, and you need money to survive in a capitalist society. It's not her fault that she's in the situation, right? And she's under extreme emotional distress in extreme situation, And as for her being unable to feed Curly his meds, I feel that ties back into what I was saying. It's an interesting symbolic thing, right? Curly was not able to help her. I mean, he stood by Jimmy, right? And now everything's happened and she's unable to help Curly. He is suffering because she can't help him. Just like she was suffering before. I wouldn't say that she's choosing not to help him, but I do think that's a very interesting narrative parallel there. Yeah, I don't think there's any way to blame her for things that are explicitly the company's fault, right? Like her being undertrained. I know it's a meme at this point, but it's really starting to feel like media literacy is dead. I don't know, does anyone who listened this far disagree? I don't imagine this is going to reach that many people, so who knows. This game just had me thinking a good bit, and I kind of wanted to ramble about it because I saw discourse in the past that now after completing it just seems stupid. Every time I get in the process of trying to make a video, I just script it over and over, and I lose all motivation and feel completely uninspired, and that's why there's been so few videos on this channel since I started it. I was originally planning to do one a week after I deleted my old channel and start over and do all of this, but life just got busy and I really struggled in committing to actually finishing something. So this has just been kind of me rambling into a mic, and I'm probably going to cut it up, throw it together, use some footage of the stream of me playing this game as backdrop. Overall, I thought the game was really good. Got me, here, so I think it's really good when a piece of media like this gets you to be thinking about it, instead of just some of the slop you see. I'm trying to make more time in my life to read more and play more games and stuff, so if anyone has any suggestions, feel free to throw them my way, and thanks for watching.